In this video I go through all the answers to the Year 10 Summer Exam Revision booklet. So we start off with types of number, and square numbers are 1 squared, which is 1, 2 squared, which means 2 times 2 is 4, 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9, and so on. Cube number is cubing 1, so 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8, 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27, 125, and so on. Triangular numbers is 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, and so on. If you notice there, the triangular number you're adding 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. And if you draw them out, they will form a little triangle. If I do that, maybe over here, 1, then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Fibonacci numbers, you just need to remember what they are. You get the first two numbers are 1 and 1, and you then add the two previous numbers, so 1 plus 1 is 2. And then forget about the first one, you're just adding the two previous numbers, so 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. 5 plus 8 is 13, and so on. The multiples of 12 are numbers that 12 divide into. So starting with the smallest would be 12, 24, 36, 48, and just going to make that more legible, 48 and 60, and they go on forever. Factors of 12, so let's do this in pairs, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Prime numbers, they're numbers that have only got two factors, itself and 1. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, and so on. The reciprocal of 2 means 1 over that number, so 1 over 2. And if it already is a fraction, when you do 1 over it, what happens is you flip it upside down. So reciprocal is not equal, you should never write equal. The reciprocal of 4/5 will be 5 over 4, but then we write that as a mixed number, 1 and 1/4. Section 2, ratio. Divide 60 in the ratio 2 to 3. Well, the ratio 2 to 3 has 5 parts, so 60 divided by 5 is 12, which means 1 part would be 12. 2 parts then would be 24, and 3 parts would be 36. So if 1 part's 12, you double it to get 2 parts and triple it to get 3 parts. Part B, this ratio needs to be simplified, needs to be brought up actually to be whole numbers. So if you times both sides by 10, you get 11 and 33, and then you can divide both sides by 11 and you get 1 to 3. Here, make your units the same first of all, so that would be 200 pence and 50 pence. And then when you divide 3 by 50, you would get 4 to 1. Here I'm going to multiply through by 4. You might want to first of all maybe write them as the same denominator. So 3/4 is the same, or 3/4 in the ratio to 2/4, because 1/2 is the same as 2/4. And when you multiply both sides by 4, you would end up with 3 to 2. Map scales. The map ratio of a map is 1 to 50,000. The distance between A and B on the map is 6 centimetres. What is the true distance between A and B? 1 to 50,000 means that on everything that's 1 centimetre on the map would be 50,000 centimetres in real life, or if it's 1 metre on the map, it would be 50,000 in real life. Everything's 50,000 times bigger than on the map. So you do 6 times 50,000, and that will give you 30, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 300,000. And that would be 300,000 centimetres. Don't need that last comma. You're not going to say the distance in real life is 300,000 centimetres. Change that into metres by dividing by 100, and that will give you 3 zeros. and then you can divide that by 1,000 to write down that that is 3 kilometers. The map ratio of a map is 1 to 200,000. That means that everything in real life is 200,000 times bigger than it would be on the map. The distance between two towns is 20 kilometers. What distance will this be in the map? So obviously the map is going to be a lot smaller than 20 kilometers. So we're going to have to divide this number by the 200,000. I'm going to change this number first of all, however, because I don't want to divide a number like 20 by 200,000. So let's change the 20 kilometers into meters. 20 kilometers into meters times by 1,000, so 1, 2, 3 zeros. And you can also put that into centimeters when you're there, times it by 100. And now, to go from, that would be 2 million centimeters if we divide that by 200,000. So you're doing 2,000 divided by 200,000, and that fits in 10 times. So it will be 10 centimeters in the map. The reason why it's centimeters is because I've changed everything to be in centimeters. Decimals. Calculate 0.3 times 0.6. I work out what it is without the decimals. 3 6s are 18. And then I notice there are 2 digits after decimal place. So my answer has to have 2 digits after decimal place. So 0.18. And the next one we're dividing by a decimal. So I would write that as a fraction. That's 26 divided by 1.3. That's equivalent to working out what 260 divided by 13 is. Now I know that 26 divided by 13 would be 2. So 260 divided by 13 would be 20. On to fractions. When adding and subtracting, you need a common denominator. When multiplying and dividing, you must turn mixed numbers into improper fractions. For multiplying, you multiply the tops and you multiply the bottoms. For dividing, you should remember K, F, C. That is, keep the first, flip the second, change the sign. So in part A, we've got a mixed number there. Let's change it to improper. Let's change the first fraction into thirds. 2 wholes into thirds. 2 threes are 6, plus 1 is 7. So we have 7 thirds minus 4 fifths. A common denominator there would be 15. 3 into 15 goes 5 times, so we multiply the top by 5. 7 fives are 35. And 5 into 15 goes 3 times, multiply the numerator 4 by 3, which gives you 12. When you do 35 minus 12, we're subtracting the numerators, we get 23 fifteenths, and you should change that into a mixed number again. So 15 goes into 23 once, and then there are 8 left over. That's 8 fifteenths. In part B, we can multiply the tops and the bottoms, or else multiply the numerators and the denominators. However, you can simplify fractions first, which makes it easier. So on the top line, we've got, let's just put it together, we've got 5 times 6 on the top and 18 times 25 on the bottom. So what you can do is divide the top by 5 and the bottom by 5, and then you can divide the top by 6 and the bottom by 6, and you're left with a calculation on the top 1 times 1, on the bottom 3 times 5, which is 15. In part C, we need to just be aware of what the order of operations is. We've got a subtraction and we've got a division. The division comes first in our BIDMAS, so let's do that calculation first. That would be 3 take away, and then to actually divide we need to change the mixed number to improper. So 1 whole is 5 fifths, plus the 1 would be 6 fifths, and we're going to divide that by 3 tenths. So that gives 3 take away. We keep the first, we flip the second, and we change the sign. And then we've got 3 take away, and how to do that? Again, we can do a wee bit of cancelling out. So divide the top by 3. Divide the top and the bottom by 5. And you actually end up with, on the top, you have 2 times 2, which is 4. On the bottom, 4 times 1, which is, 1 times 1, which is 1. And if you're doing 4 over 1, that means 4 wholes. So you've actually got 3 take away 4, which is minus 1. Section 6 is substitution. That's replacing the letter with a number. And I would advise you to put the number in brackets when doing that. So in the first one, we've got find the value of y in the expression y equals 6 take away 2x squared. Let's do it where x is 3. Now you might need, in some of these questions, you don't have enough space here. I have very little space. You should maybe do this in your books. But all I've done there is replace the x with the 3. Then my order of operations says that I can't do the subtraction until I do the multiplication, but I can't do the multiplication until I've done the indices. So indices comes first. 6 take away 2 multiplied by, and what's 3 squared? 3 squared is 9, 3 times 3. So that's 6 take away 2 9s, 6 take away 18, which is minus 12. If we do that again, this time in part B, the x is negative 5. So we'd have 6, and this is what y is equal to each time. 6 take away 2, negative 5 squared. That's 6 take away 2. We can't do the negative 2 times the negative 5 because there's an index there. We do the indices first. Negative 5 squared means negative 5 times negative 5. And negative times a negative is a positive. So we end up with 25. So that's 6 take away 50, which would give you negative 44. Part 7, x squared multiply x by itself. And we had to do that actually in the last section. So something like 5 squared means 5 times 5, which is 25. 2 cubed means 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. And then the square root of 49, square root of x is what number multiplied by itself gives x. So what number times by itself gives 49? The answer would be 7. 7 sevens are 49. Okay, here we've got 3 columns. We have to have percentages in the first one, fractions in the second, decimals in the third. 100% is 1 whole, or 1 over 1 if you want, but just 1, and as a decimal it's also 1. It's like a special case. 4/5. Let's change that into a percentage. I know that 4/5 is the same as 8/10, or then 80 over 100, and then that would be 80%. As a decimal, I can divide the percentage by 100, and I get 0.8. So I'm using that fraction or decimal to a percentage. You have to times by 100. So if you're going backwards, you're dividing by 100. So this column is always 100 times bigger than these 2 columns. Here we have a special case. It's 2/3. That's why it's recurring. And as a percentage, you would write 66 and 2/3%. 3/10 is the same. Well, let's go even with the decimal. It's 0.3. And then if you times that by 100, you would get 30%. 0.25, if you multiply it by 100, you would get 25%. So that's 25 over 100, and that simplifies down. You might be familiar with that. That's a quarter. 10% then, divide that by 100 to get the decimal, 0.1, and that 1's in the tenths column. It's worth 1/10. 0.5% then. Remember, every time we're dividing by 100, so 0.5% divided by 100 would be 0.005. To write that as a fraction, think about what column the 5's in. That's the tenths, that's the hundreds, that's the thousandths. So we'd have 5, how to write this? 5 over 1,000. You've got to simplify that, divide the top and the bottom by 5, and you get 1 over 200. In the last one, I noticed the denominator could divide into 100, so I'm going to write that fraction out of 100. I'd have to times the denominator by 5, so times the numerator by 5, and 5/100ths is 5%, and that then will be 0.05. Number 9. If an article is bought for £15 and sold for £20, calculate the percentage profit. Let's go back here. We're looking for percentage profit. Profit is a change in the price, so it's a percentage change. So we want to work out the actual change, divide that by what it cost originally, and then times by 100. So the actual change is 20 take away 15, which is 5, over the original amount, which is 15, and times that by 100. Now that works out, you've got 1/3 times 100. So it's not a nice number, but if you have 100 and you divide it by 3, you'd end up with 33 1/3%. On to 9b. Find the compound interest earned by £100 invested for 3 years at 8% compound interest. Well, if you had £100 and you increase it by 8%, you would multiply it by 1.08. That would find you 108%. The next year you multiply it by 1.08, and the next year you multiply by 1.08. So the quick way is to write that. And if we work that out, that gives £125.97 to the nearest penny. Now the question asked for find the compound interest. So this is what you'd have originally invested. This is what you get at the end. So the interest is the difference in those two. So the difference would then be £25.97. If they asked you how much was in the account at the end of the 3 years, you would use that number. But as they've only asked for the compound interest, it's the bit there. And you'd have units for that as well. That would be pounds. Part C. A TV costs £235, including VAT, at 17.5%. Calculate the cost of the TV before VAT was added. This will probably be the hardest question you do at percentages in year 10. And it's identifying what £235 represents. You have your 100%, VAT is added on, and it is 117.5%. You could then work out 1% by getting your £235 and dividing it by 117.5. That gives you 2. That was obvious. And then 100% is your original amount. It's what it was before VAT was added. So if you know 1% is 2, 100% will be 2 times 100, and that gives £200. You can check that by getting £200, add 17.5% of that on, and you should get 235. Part D. A car bought for £15,000 depreciates in value by 9% per annum. Find its value after 3 years. So if something costs £15,000, if you were to depreciate or bring the value down by 9%, you'd multiply by 0.91, because that is 9% less than 100% as a decimal. If you were to do that 3 times, the quick way to multiply by 0.91 3 times is to multiply by 0.91 cubed. So then in your calculator, £15,000 multiplied by 0.91 cubed, and that gives you £11,303.57p to the nearest